I mean, I'm not one to say I told you so. Guys, a reenactment video tied to the Alec Baldwin lawsuit from him murdering Helena Hutchins has come out. The family, and I believe the other guy that got shot behind D'Souza, I believe, I think he's part of the suit also. Anyway, they're suing Alec Baldwin. They made kind of a creepy reenactment video, and I guess sometimes you have to do that to get the noise out of it. If you use people, maybe you'd be distracted or something. But they did an animation, like a 3D animation type video to reenact everything. They go into pretty good detail about what all took place using witness testimony of people they questioned who were on the scene. So these were people that were there. This is not hearsay. I know a lot of people were upset with me and some other people of saying that we were speculating on hearsay. All I was doing was simply reenacting the way the gun was supposed to actually work. I know how a single action army revolver works. And that's what I was trying to do. And I was using data that I had gotten, like most of the guys that put videos out. I was using data from the scene, from people who were there, probably the same people who helped make this video. But I think what it does, it confirms almost every single thing that most of us have said in our videos, that this is the way this happened. And actually had a gun expert. Look, anybody that works in movies is probably not a gun expert. They just happen to have that title. But this person even confirmed that the only way this gun could have gone off is if Alec Baldwin had his finger on the trigger when he pulled the hammer back, let go of the hammer, and it flew forward, just like most of us have said in videos that we put out. So a lot of that, I do think this is going to put Alec Baldwin in hot water. I really do. Because now this is official evidence, if you will, testimony that they've gotten that's all going to be submitted in court. And it's from people who said that, and I think this is kind of bogus, but they made the comment that Alec had refused, they call it safety training, but that refused training on how to cross draw. The pistol was supposed to be on the left side of his body in a shoulder harness, and he's supposed to cross draw and pull it out. The scene was designed to just show camera angles and how the gun needed to be aimed. So they point out that he should have used a rubber gun on that, or a replica, non-firing replica. But they mentioned that he refused safety training on how to make that cross draw. Personally, I think that's a bit of a reach. I think he did way more negligent things to not have to throw that in there also, because refusing to practice how you drew the weapon is not why he shot Helena Hutchins. That was because he had his finger on the trigger. Now, granted, with a cross draw, maybe he was using his finger in the trigger guard and on the trigger to retrieve that pistol from the holster and then come out. In other words, instead of using his three fingers that were actually on the grip, he might have been using that pointer finger, and actually that's how he retrieved it. And when he pulled back and pulled that hammer back, that trigger was already depressed. So it's possible there. I'm not saying that it's okay that he refused that training. What I'm saying is I don't think that's as big of a deal. The fact that he either ignored or was not properly trained to keep his finger off the trigger in the first place. They did mention that it's an industry standard, industry requirement that sounds crazy coming from Hollywood, but that they too have a requirement to treat every gun as if it's loaded and to not point it at people. So it sounds like Baldwin might be in some hot water. They listed, I think, 15 different things that they feel like Alec Baldwin either refused to do or did improperly that led to Helena Hutchins being murdered or killed. I shouldn't say murdered because they haven't had the trial yet, but nevertheless being killed on set. So really tragic, man. It's so tragic, so tragic. I mean, I don't have any like for Alec Baldwin, but I don't wish this on anybody. However, somebody needs to pay the piper. Again, the armorer they mentioned in here was supposed to hand Alec the gun. Now, Alec being the producer on the set, he's the guy who knew these rules. He's the guy who put these rules in place. He should have never, according to the rules, industry rules, he should have never accepted a firearm from a non-armorer, which is what he did. He knew who the armorer was because he hired the armorer. So when a different person besides the armorer handed him that firearm, he should not have accepted it. He should not have received it, and by all means should have checked to see if it were loaded. Interestingly enough, they also point in here how an armorer would tell just by glancing and just by simple testing of how things, how a firearm may or may not be loaded. they actually showed the dummy ammo. A dummy round, they say, has a hole drilled in the side, and the primer is not present on the back, either drilled out or it's just not there. And there's a BB in the round that if you grabbed the bullet and you shook it, you would hear the rattling inside. Well, a regular live round is not going to do that because it's packed with gunpowder. It doesn't have a BB in it. And you would obviously see the primer on the back of a regular round. Again, on the dummy round, there's no primer present, so you'd see a distinct hole in the back where a primer would be and a hole drilled on the side as well. So interesting things there. It sounds like it would have been really, really easy for them to do a quick test and turning that cylinder to look at the back of each round. And when you see that there's actually a primer present, you should know that's something that I do not want to fire, and Baldwin did not do that. Baldwin may be in a lot of trouble here. I don't think the video is what's going to get him in trouble. I think the facts that are coming out that they used to help build this video, that's what's going to get him in trouble.